I'm a painter. I do aerosol art. I do my paintings with spray can on a wall. And this is my painting of my passport. I'm turning 30 today. Today is my 30th birthday. And so I'm painting my German passport. Normally my paintings are really about my life. They're definitely concerned with politics and social issues, you know, but at the same time they're really very personal, self-indulgent art pieces. But I think in order to make art that's meaningful in the long run, it has to be self-indulgent. Spraying, like, you know, with a spray can is a tool that allows you to go with like light colors over dark colors very easily without a long drying period like you have with oil paints and stuff. So it really like is a great tool to do paintings, and that's I think what I want to do now. Like I want to do aerosol art that's like my paintings. This is my studio where I work, where I do my paintings, which is what I predominantly do. I think there is a similarity to be seen between like my graffiti and my painting, or how graffiti influences like painting, and how style, or what I think is really like a balanced movement. It's like a dynamic form that is static and at the same time moving. How that sort of goes into my work, you know, and how the colors choices are somewhat similar, you know, the pop arty, like very bright popsicle colors, you know, the sort of cheesy, over-exaggerated 80s type aesthetic, which is pretty much what I grew up with, you know, and so I think that's all starting to come together, and it's sort of like a conglomerate, like a being. Like my paintings are sort of almost portraits of beings that are my life, you know, and at the same time social commentary. I think my recent work is commenting a lot on marketing, on the media influencing us, like advertisement bombarding us, and we sort of accepting it and not even questioning it because we don't realize it anymore. I really like a lot of different things about art. I like abstract art and I like representational art. I also think that representational art is, in a way, sort of bundled abstract art. Because like everything within representation is still abstract. If you paint an ear, if you paint it, it's still abstract if you look close enough. Do you know what I mean? But you want to bundle the abstractions so it starts to look like what you want to actually like represent. You know, it's still abstract though. Yeah, it's paint. And so I think like in a way like so my paintings are, I want them to be sort of worlds that are dreamlike filmic worlds where actual things we recognize exist like in the same space with completely abstract elements. I'm using a lot of times roll paint into my process, so I'll outline my piece and then I use the roll paint to take away the background and take away the parts that I don't like, and then use the aerosol cans to actually accentuate certain parts that I do like. And in this way, involving the background into my painting, I think it really adds a certain element of like losing control, and they're like really coming up with something fresh. I also use like sometimes different kinds of caps. Like I use fat caps, like if I want to really have a high paint flow, and skinny caps if I want to like have a certain like a low paint flow. And the stock caps that come on the cans in the store already work pretty good as skinny caps. It's also involving your whole body, so you're really giving your body a certain memory, and the more you do certain letters, the more your body remembers certain radiuses, and so you give your body the memory that translates into the line that you're actually drawing. And the more you do graffiti art, or the more you do styles, the more your body memorizes certain letters, especially the ones that you do most. We're also really paying attention to the different paints and companies that there are, because every paint, especially in America where we don't have high quality graffiti products available to us that easily, have different qualities, and so by really us knowing our qualities we can make the most use of them. So we know which paints have like a certain glaze effect and which ones are really covering well. For me this is really I think what it's about now, you know, more, and open people's minds to like what the potential of aerosol art is. You know, there's always this bad connection right away because they think like, oh, it's an aerosol can, it can't be art, you know. It's cool, you know, people really like it, so that's good. Then I also get to show like some painting, you know, like painting, but in spray can, so that's why I chose this painting, something about that.
What I have learned about his work after getting to know him is that this is what could be called post-graffiti or graffiti-inspired art. So I think sometimes this is controversial. Some people feel like in working with you that it's actually leading them down the road to corruption, and that graffiti or even post-graffiti might be about urban decay. But actually quite the opposite is true. It's really positive kind of activity that the young people can relate to and therefore feel acknowledged, feel like they're a part of the community that they're living in.
I like doing graffiti pieces and styles. It is sort of a seed, it's a jumping point, you know, to go and do work that's personally meaningful or politically meaningful. The Asylum Wall was so great because it was done on our own budget, on our own funds. It was done on our own time, out of our own motivation. Do you know what I mean? Like for no profit, for nothing. And it was a piece of art that meant something, and it meant something to the people. And you can see it by the people actually preventing it from being painted over. The Asylum wanted to paint over it, you know, and people stopped on the street and demonstrated and said, like, we want this. Like, if you paint over that, there'll be a lot of upset in Portland, you know. And so they left it. And that's a story that's amazing to me. I think that mural art is really like in influencing the community, and it influences the people that live in it. So if they walk and they see something that inspires them, you know, like, it really makes them think.
So this idea of post-graffiti and graffiti as public art and community art, I think, has great potential.
Yes, so my friend Joe lives in this house, and he told me that the owner of Ono Cafe was like a big fan of graffiti art, and he asked him if Joe could ask me like to paint the wall, and since there was not really any money around really to pay for the wall, like I just figured like I would use the wall as advertisement space for my mural business, and you know, and so this way I hope to get a couple walls around town in strategic places that sort of advertise for my murals.
I actually saw a mural that was in City Hall that was a sort of compilation of work that he had done with teens, and I was really very impressed by the quality of this work. I mean, the visual quality, and also just the concept of working with teens and working with a kind of process and a vocabulary that they can really understand and plug into.
You know, there's a lot of things that are pushing and pulling as far as social and economic situations for a lot of these teens in these neighborhoods. I think it says a lot for someone to come in and give them a sense of self and a sense of pride and something to talk about with their friends and kind of spread around the neighborhood. We've gotten a lot of really good positive feedback from parents and organizations wanting more types of this kind of programming. A lot of people are finding that we're having a hard time attracting teens to their programs. And so I think what Tim and I are doing is very unique in such a way that we are kind of offering a combination of life learning skills, visual art, and kind of contemporary thinking, dealing with issues that the kids are dealing with today.